Hi everyone, this is Natasha. I'm going to make Spirulina cupcakes. Why? Because they're going to make a luscious green, naturally tinted color. And I'm using the nuts.com Spirulina. And in this little sample, I think it's like $3. So if you want to try this, I highly encourage you to. And no, they're not paying me. I just love this thing. So first, the recipe calls for self-rising flour. I don't have any. I have all-purpose, I have whole wheat, I have bread, I have AP. So I'm going to use the AP, which is all-purpose flour. I have 3 cups of flour, and to make it self-rising, I'm just going to add baking soda. Easy peasy, right? No, baking powder. Baking powder. So to make a self-rising flour, you add about 1.5 teaspoons per cup. So I have 4.5 teaspoons in here. I'm going to put that in and mix it up. Easy peasy. And try not to get it all over me. Sorry about the sniffles. I'm away from the food. I'm going to mix this well so it's incorporated. Because I don't know about you, but I don't sift. I don't even own a sifter. I just mix it up. And I will do that much better off camera. So I have all my ingredients that I need. Let me just pan over and up so you can see exactly what I have. And then we'll get started. I have 4 room temperature eggs. And I use my green ones. There's dark green and light green. I have 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon of spirulina, about 1.5 teaspoons of orange zest, and 2.5 teaspoons of orange juice, 2 cups of sugar. I have 2 sticks of butter, which is 1 cup or half a pound, 8 ounces. I have my bowl mixer, and I need a cup of whole milk. So that'll be the additional thing. So let me go grab my mixer, and I will mix this up nicely on its own, and then we'll start creaming the egg and sugar. Butter and sugar. See, it's getting late. So I have my stand mixer, and in it I have the butter, and I'm going to add the sugar, and then I'm going to beat it until it's nice and fluffy. And once that's done, I'm going to start off slow. I'm going to mix in one egg at a time. I'll be right back. Don't forget to stop and scrape, because you want to make sure that all that stuff gets incorporated. Back to mixing. So this is the light and fluffy that we're going after. So now I'm going to crack 1 egg at a time into the same bowl that I used for the sugar, and drop it in and let it incorporate until I have all 4 eggs incorporated. And then we're going to start with the dry and wet mixture combination using a spoon. And I don't know if I mentioned it, but I'm using sweet cream salted butter, so I'm leaving out the salt from the recipe. And I'll have the full recipe on my blog. For those of you who've never seen inside a green egg, that's what it looks like. It's green on the inside too. So I'm gonna pop this, let's see how I can get to it from behind the camera. Oh, sorry about that. There you go. Nicely incorporated. I did mention I was going to make these Irish cupcakes besides the green. I'm going to add some Bailey's cream, and this is mint chocolate. I didn't want to run out and buy a whole big bottle, and some caramel. So I'm going to add that to the measuring cup. That way I know how much more liquid I need for the 1 cup of milk, which is the whole milk, but we're using lactose-free. Sorry, lactose-free. Alright, so I have the oven preheating. I have just 2 of the bottles of Irish cream in here because I thought 3 would be too many. Plus I can save some for the topping, for the frosting. So, and the rest is milk. I'm going to add vanilla. Again, all measurements will be on the blog. The zest. Almost all of the orange juice. And to really dissolve the spirulina is going to go in here. Don't freak out. It's going to look very, very green. It's kind of like an Irish minty green. And I'm going to alternate wet and dry. Starting with the wet. Actually starting with the dry right after I scrape down the bowl one more time. Okay, let's get started. So I'm going to just unstir about 1/3 of the flour in baking powder and about 1/3 of the liquid. Yeah, lower. Unless you need powder everywhere. Well, I made a mess. All of it. Until it's incorporated, let me just stop and scrape down the one more time. I might have to do a quick stir once this is off the... Okay. It's awkward because of the camera. I think that's it. Let me take that off and I'll show you what it looks like inside. All mixed up. And that mixer, you get a workout. So I've mixed it all the way from the bottom up. And it's a beautiful green. Look at that. All natural stuff. So I'm going to scoop up these minis and pop them in the oven. 375. I'm going to watch them about 10 minutes or so because it's not the regular size. And I might have to do this a couple of times. So I'll show you what they look like all filled up. There they are all filled up, and oh my gosh, I barely made a dent. So I think I might pull out another size muffin pan and fill them up as well. I'm going to pop these in. I'm going to check them in about 10 minutes. And I only fill them 3/4 of the way because there's baking powder in there. and it's going to rise, and I don't want to blow it on top. So yeah, into the oven they go, 375 Fahrenheit. Okay, this batter makes a lot of cupcakes. I think it's about 30 regular size cupcakes, and I had that pan of, is it 24? And then the 2 pans of 6 of the large ones, and I use the Dromar cookie liners from IKEA, and I'm almost out. I might have to, it's like an hour away, but anyway, so I'm gonna maybe wait until those are almost done so I have a full rack, and then those will be cooling, and I'm gonna conduct an experiment. I have an ever so slight amount of batter left. I'm gonna pop it in a microwave safe bowl in the microwave for about 45 seconds and see what happens. Aren't you curious? I am. I think I always wanted to be a scientist, so I'm going to conduct this experiment, but I am going to put it on paper towel in case there's an explosion. And I did spray the glass bowl so the cupcake can come out. The minis took exactly 10 minutes to bake, and they're perfectly made. So I'm going to let them cool in the pan for a few minutes, and then I'm going to take them out on a cooling rack, and I popped in the large cupcakes. And in the meantime, I'm going to wash up the bowl because I need to make my whipped cream topping for it and cupcakes, and I might not frost them until tomorrow. So maybe I'll frost. Let me think about this. We'll see. They definitely have to be completely cool because it is frosting, whipped cream frosting, and then I'm wondering where am I going to store all of these? I might have to bring them down to the basement. So while I was on a break, the tripod fell on my toes. So never a dull moment around here. So I'm going to let these cool, then transfer them to the cooling rack and wait for the big ones to come out, which will probably take about 17 minutes or so. I have my cake testers standing by. Oh yeah, the microwave experiment worked like a charm. It was about 50 seconds. Look at that. It's still hot, but for science, I'll taste it for you. You can't taste spirulina, but it gives you nutrients, which I'll list below. And this beautiful green color. Win-win. Okay, I have to let that cool before I burn my tongue. I'm going to tip on pulling out tiny little muffins or cupcakes that are super hot. Look at that. They're going to be covered, so not a problem. Easy peasy. Check them out. Everything's out of the oven. The little ones are cooling. The big ones just came out. I'm going to let them cool until they're completely room temperature. In the meantime, my mixing bowl is cooling in the mudroom because it's still kind of a bit of a walking freezer out there. And then I'll be off to the next step, which is to make the frosting. Let me show you close up what they look like. There you go. Lovely. I have my mixing bowl cold, and I have 2 cups of heavy whipping cream inside, and I'm going to let it go and whip up and get 3/4 cup of powdered sugar ready. This part happens pretty quickly. Don't walk away. This is exactly what I'm looking for. And I'm going to frost one to show you, and I'm going to put the rest of this in the fridge, and we'll only frost them as we eat them. There they are, all done. So I just literally turn them upside down and poke them in there. I'm going to put the rest of the frosting in the refrigerator and put the cupcakes away so we can have them as needed, and then I can freeze some if I want to. So that's it. Spirulina cupcakes made with no food coloring. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, don't forget about the thumbs up. It's free for you and it helps me out. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, everyone.